Ian, we're gearing up for Partick Thistle away in the first leg of the playoff semi-final. How's the preparation been?
Yeah, it's been good. Feels a long time since we last played. Obviously the Arbroath game, last league game of the season, was a wee bit longer break than we're normally used to, but we've used it wisely in terms of resting players a little bit and then refocusing them on the task in hand, which is obviously for Hull tomorrow evening.
Yeah. And again, I always pick up things that you say to the mainstream press, but the point you were making was that two-legged playoffs mean the first match could be cagey, but it's up to us to manage that in readiness for the second leg. Is that fair?
Yeah, it is. I mean, there is instances, especially last season, where Partick done remarkably well in the first leg of games against Queen's Park and United. I always believe it's the second one that kind of cements where you're going to go and where you're going to be. The first game's always, in my opinion, more difficult to try and call because, especially as a away team, I think as well. I think you're at home slightly different. It changes your mentality a little bit, and then the second leg, both teams know exactly what they've got to do. There's no question marks or doubts left over where you need to be to get through to the next stage. But really looking forward to it. My first experience of a championship playoff. Great that we managed to cement second place and give ourselves that little bit more time. But I expect Partick Thistle to be flying at the traps tomorrow evening as a home side, and their tails will be up from their two previous performances.
Yeah, and you touched it in your previous answer there. We know Partick have quality all across the pitch from front to back, but we're not too shabby ourselves. It's up to us to rise to the occasion as well tomorrow and Friday.
Yeah, two really good teams. Second v third tells its own story. The games that we've played against each other this season have been really close. We've got a decent record against them, but tomorrow evening I don't think that counts for very much. It's going to be very much who performs on the evening. Two-legged makes it slightly different. We have to remain calm, we have to remain cool, and see where we are at the end of the game. But we've got good quality. We know their strengths. They've got a striker in Brian Graham who's got 26 goals this season. They've got Kerr McInroy who can put good delivery in. You've got Fitzpatrick, Macbeth's coming onto a game as well. Two reliable, aggressive centre halves and two good fullbacks. But we don't fear them. That's for sure. We know it's going to be difficult. We know we'll have to play at the top end of our game to try and get anything at a place that's notoriously hard to get results.
Yeah. As you said, second place in the league has been cemented for some time, so the disappointment at not winning the league will be long forgotten with the potential prize that's at stake after this week's matches.
Absolutely, yeah. It's one of those tough ones to answer sometimes, because at the start of the season we would have been delighted with second place, and then when you get there you want more and you want to be greedy and stuff like that. But our disappointment is long gone. It's in our profession, you can't dwell on things good or bad for too long, because around the corner is the next game, the next opportunity, the next goal target's been set. So we deal with Partick Thistle now over the next few days in terms of the home and away legs. We try and get through to that final. If we can get through to the final, we know it's going to be equally as hard to beat a Premier League team over two legs, but our first objective is to get there.
Exactly, yeah. A big talking point every season it comes round now, the playoff structure. It's been in the current format for several years now, and we know how tough it is for the teams that finish third or fourth. That said, we can't be complacent against any team, particularly Partick Thistle.
No, certainly not. Partick have shown how good a side they not just this season but previous seasons. Ian McCall went in there, then obviously Chris went in, played them the last game of last season, and I thought they were excellent in the game. I really did. It's not often that we've been running around like that, particularly the first 45 minutes. They've kind of changed their style of play a wee bit this season. We're certainly halfway through the season, but they have bounced back tremendously well from the disappointment of the playoffs last year. We all know the playoffs are incredibly heavily favoured in the Premier League teams' favour. We know that. We all know, and it's pretty obvious they're not very fair, but that's what they are. That's what they have been, and that's what they'll probably continue to be going forward.
Yeah. And is it fair to say that in these crunch matches, mental preparation is as important, if not more important, than physical prep?
Yeah, pretty much at this stage of the season. Both are huge. Physically, you're kind of there, you've been there for a number of weeks. Mentally, it is different. You have to remain, like I said, you've got to remain calm, and you've got to remain cool, and you've got to stick together, because it's very unusual for a two-legged game of such magnitude to be all in your favour. There's going to be moments in the game, decisions in the game that don't go our way, but we have to make sure we get through them. We have to make sure that we don't get caught up in the occasion too much, particularly I would say tomorrow evening, because you're away from home and there's going to be a large Partick Thistle support in the stadium. But we'll handle that. We've got good experience in the team, we've got good mindset in the team, and we've got good quality in the team.
Yeah. You said previously that this is your first exposure to Premiership playoffs, but you've obviously been through Championship playoffs with Airdrie before. Fans go to games to be entertained, and they'll be happy if we come up with anything like Airdrie Montrose a few years ago. Just remind us of the story of that game, because it's been told quite a lot.
Yeah, again, very similar situation. We found ourselves finishing second after a ridiculous run, 25 games I think it was undefeated, and we still finished second to Cove Rangers. I think we're 27 undefeated that season, so it was a crazy 2-horse race. And then we had Montrose, who were a really good side in our division, who we always found hard to play against. And we went up there and we lost 1-0, lost a goal in the first 2 minutes actually, defensive mix-up. And we hung in a little bit up there. We didn't play particularly well in the game, but we got out 1-0, and always fancied us at home, but we found ourselves after 15-20 minutes 2-0 down. So we had to make a few changes early on in that game to try and get ourselves back in it. And then we managed to get back in it. We scored just after half time to make it 2-1 and give ourselves a wee opportunity, but from kick-off they scored, so we were 3-1 down, and then we scored again, so we managed to get it back to 3-2. And probably the biggest turning point was them scoring their third goal and us scoring straight after, because it got the crowd right back behind us and got the crowd right up for it. And then Callum Smith completed his hat-trick, ironically, and got us within touching distance of forcing extra time, and then we managed to score a really scrappy goal in 89th, 90th minute to take it to extra time. And I think at that point we all felt we were going to win the game, because we'd put we had really good fitness that season, and Montrose looked a little bit tired, and we did. We went on to win the game and get through to the final. So it was one of those crazy games, and to be honest, we had that many attacking players on the park at the end. I think Callum at one point volunteered to play left back, so that tells its own story.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever happens this week against Partick, whether it's 4, 5, 6 goal thrillers or a 1-0 victory for whoever, the one thing that is guaranteed is massive support for the Rovers in the Colin Weir stand at Firhill, and a big noisy Partick support as well. We can't forget them. Yeah, the atmosphere, I was at the game on Friday, was fantastic. Airdrie took a massive number of fans through. Partick had fantastic home support, so a great stadium to play football. The sun was shining, so it made it for a really good occasion. Tomorrow I don't see being any different. We'll take big numbers. They'll have big numbers as well. We just try to get back here, with a cushion of some sort, whatever that may be, and then we try and pack out Starks Park for the second leg. Sounds good to me. Thanks and good luck.
Thank you.